Jesus. Oh my God. Hey, I'm Cisco Posada. This is my brother Chris. And 4 weeks ago, we came up with the crazy idea to embark on a West Coast RV trip across the United States and hit as many awesome national parks as we could. And what we did is we went out, purchased this 36-foot Class A motorhome, and we embarked on a journey to the west that took us 4 weeks, and 8,000 miles later, we've landed back here in our hometown in Southwest Michigan. And when we found out that Mich Ultra was looking to sponsor someone to go out and do a West Coast tour and hit the most iconic national parks that California and Oregon have to offer, I thought this might be the perfect opportunity for us to reach out and try to work and team up with Team Ultra and bring our experiences to those that are watching. Again, I'm Cisco Posada. This is my brother.
Hey, I'm Chris Posada.
And we're the Posada brothers. I'm 26 years old. I studied theater and acting in college, and I've been self-employed my whole adult life. And basically just grew up at the lake and live at the lake. And one thing that's been super consistent through all of our experiences, whether we're out traveling, hiking, I do a lot of fishing, is the only beer that I drink, ironically, has always been Mich Ultra. And we do our best to always try and convert our friends to drink Mich Ultra, simply because it's really the most crisp.
It's just the best beer.
It's just the best beer there is.
I mean, you could drink it like, it's almost like a it's just so refreshing. I mean, we drink it after we work out. I'll go for a 5-mile run,
dude,
come back and just be like, I need a Mich Ultra.
Dude, something about that prickly pear, it's so crisp. You just don't feel guilty about it.
Oh, perfect for a day on the lake, sun's out.
You know, we
really
spend most of our days here at the lake house, out on the pontoon, on the surf boat, sharing just this lake lifestyle with our closest friends and trying to constantly share it with other people, whether it's on social media or YouTube. I do a lot of fishing and travel all over the country to do fishing and chase different type of species of fish, whether I'm trout fishing in the mountains or I'm up in northern Michigan chasing smallmouth. I always have Mich Ultra with me, and I'm always filming and trying to share this with people. Again, I work in the television and film industry. I'm an actor. I went and studied theater in college, went on and joined the union, became a member of SAG, and sharing what really ultimately what I learned is that I really enjoy sharing my laid-back lifestyle with other people, even if it's just for that weekend. It's just time spent with my closest friends, and I think we've been wanting to join Team Ultra for the past 2 years and have been thinking about what's the perfect transition and way for us to do that. And ironically, 2 days after we finished our trip in this 36-foot girl right here, this Class A motorhome, we saw that Mich Ultra put out a post wanting to find someone and a close friend or a brother who's a best friend to travel the country and hit these national parks. And we literally just did that. God, I mean,
we went all over the place.
We started here, headed west, and we started at the Grand Tetons in Wyoming. We stopped in Jackson Hole. We read up on a bunch of gear because we're gear junkies. I love gear, love doing gear reviews on my YouTube channel. And we went and picked up the best sling packs we could find. Bought brand new hiking boots, some Columbia stuff that was nice and sporty that we were into, and a bunch of other great gear. And day one, him and I ran 24 miles uphill in the Tetons, 12 miles in, 12 miles back out into the Grand Tetons. And we hiked, we started at Jenny Lake, hiked all the way up the Cascade River to the Cascade Fork, took a right at the fork and hiked all the way up to Lake Solitude. And that was the first stop of our 4-week trip.
We're at Cascade
Yeah.
Creek.
Talk about
4 miles
how
in.
way to start a journey.
Man,
That was a grind. Day one was a grind, and still I think holds a special place in the whole trip. It was just that day one, 24-mile day, 25-mile day, just total hiking and running. It was
In the middle.
It was unreal.
the thing that really was
Of
so
the
special
Teton
to me
Mountains.
about it was the wildlife that Wyoming had.
Oh, it was right
Was
there, right
just-
in your face.
It's in your
Not even-
face.
But it's not like it doesn't
better.
seem fake or
No.
forced. It's just like raw natural beauty everywhere, from the
Oh.
water to the smell to the mountains. I mean, you can't help but just be immersed in the wilderness out there. It was
It's
incredible.
Grizzly, the
Yep.
first hike. Moose on the
Mhm.
first hike. We caught cutthroat trout out of
Oh,
Lake
it was incredible.
Solitude, 12 miles into the Tetons. And then we did a catch and cook back at the RV with those same trout. And that was really just a super special moment for us. And that really set the pace
Yep.
for the rest of the trip. Following the Grand Tetons, we left and we actually headed straight up to Yellowstone, hiked in Yellowstone for 2 days, went all over Yellowstone, and then we started heading west
Actually,
immediately.
boat launch.
We got a call from a close friend who was in Oregon, and we made crazy good time, drove parallel with the Columbia River all the way out to the coast of the Pacific Northwest and met up with a good friend of ours in Seal Rock, Oregon.
Yep.
And we hiked up and down the coast,
Pretty unbelievable.
different
This
locations.
place is beautiful.
And
We just did
that was incredible too, because I've never seen rainforest
Forest.
like that.
Yeah, we went to, I think it was Cape Perpetua, it was like the state park. And man, it was just like, it was a short hike. It was only less than 3 miles, maybe 2.5 miles. But dude, the elevation gain and just the density of the air with the water or the humidity, it was unreal. I mean, the forest was like genuine rainforest. Ferns, 5-6 feet tall. It just felt like you stepped into like Jurassic Park for a quick second. And then you turn around, you see the coast, you see the highway. But then right next to all that is just this beautiful, dense forest. It was another world. Totally
It
different.
was
It was totally
another
different than
world.
Wyoming, but it was incredible.
It was. And what's really funny also is when we got there, we met up with my good friend Kyle and his family. And the first thing that we did, his parents asked, "Hey, is there anything you guys needed, from the store?" And we said, "No, we're good. We just went on a Mich Ultra run." And by the end of the 3-4 days we had spent in Oregon with their family, all of them and their friends had started drinking prickly pear cactus,
Hilarious.
Mich Ultras, and just normal Mich Ultras. And from there, we decided that we were going to head up to Washington and
yeah.
try to get into Mount Rainier. And luckily, we did.
Yeah, that was a struggle. So the crazy thing right now, especially with all these campgrounds, is everything is either closed. Half the campgrounds are closed, especially at the state parks and national parks, and the other half are just completely booked. I mean, this is a super spontaneous trip. So I mean, bought
Which
the
we
RV.
wanted it to.
Yeah, exactly, because that's just the way we do things. We want everything to be really genuine. So we bought the RV, cleaned it for 2 days, got ready, hit the road, and then we're calling campgrounds. Everything's booked. I mean, we're sleeping at gas stations and Walmarts on back streets. I think maybe once every 7 days we might have gotten one campground. So when we got to
That
Mount
was pretty
Rainier-
fun, though.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
it was
the
best.
adrenaline of not knowing
It's the best
where
part
to
about
sleep. Like when we were in Yellowstone and we were worried that we were going to get a
no
ticket.
cell phone service either.
Yeah.
$1,500 fine if you get caught spending the night or sleeping in a regulated area. It was a grind.
It was a grind.
But we did get a spot next to Mount Rainier in Seattle. So,
Yeah, we did. We did. We luckily found a KOA right out of Seattle.
Oh my gosh, you forget how having an RV and actually plugging it in, you're like,
Oh.
oh, this is what this is
The
about.
full hookups in the RV were incredible,
Yeah.
and that actually let us reset from the week we'd had in Oregon.
Oh, yeah.
And we got up to Rainier, and hiking Rainier was honestly super different than any of the other places. When we started in the parking lot, I mean, the temps were close to 70 degrees, and by the time we had hiked up to the peaks, and I can't remember the exact hike we took, but just getting up basically into the clouds and seeing all the snowmelt and the waterfalls and the natural snowmelt dripping into the rivers, and just
Man, it was
cascading
beautiful.
down the mountain was incredible.
There was snowmelt, waterfalls. It was incredible. And the only thing that I wish we could have done different is I wish we had more time at really each place.
One thing this trip really taught me, or sort of brought to the forefront for me, was we only had 4 weeks and we did 8,000 miles in this RV, and it was an incredible trip, but we didn't have the time to spend and really soak up each national park. And one of the things that I saw at this posting, this casting call that you guys are doing, is you're going to give someone 6 months to hit a lot of these fantastic places out on the West Coast. And the whole time we were doing this, we kept saying, man, I wish we could spend a week or 2 weeks at each one of these national parks and hike all the trails, or I guess for us, try and run them until we break down for the day. But that's something that if we were able to partner up with Mich Ultra, it would just be an incredible opportunity to do more of what we love to do already. And this is already such a part of our lifestyle, whether we're hiking or just spending time here.
It's always been about the outdoors.
It's always been.
It's weird, like with all of our friends, but it's always been a common theme is, our friends are all from the city or suburbs, and we were very fortunate growing up on a lake in Southwest Michigan. We had access to wildlife. I mean, chasing frogs, catching snakes, fishing, hunting, going out, right behind our house is a forest, walking into the woods and just walking, collecting berries, doing all kinds of things, And then when we did this trip, it kind of just helped us realize what we already knew, is that we have such a deep love and appreciation for the outdoors. And I think everyone does deep down. It's just they haven't. I don't think everyone always has the opportunity to get exposed to that. And when we hit this trip, it was just awesome. Bringing our 2 friends who are more city slickers along with us. We kind of held their hand a little bit, and just seeing how much their appreciation for all this sort of lifestyle grew as well. It was almost, the best part of the trip is to see, because I knew I would love what we were doing, but to see our 2 friends actually kind of evolve into like wanting to be outside all the time and wanting to keep going further and go farther on a hike, take a new trail, go on a path there hadn't been, there's no trailhead. It was really kind of incredible to see that transformation. And I think that just in general, especially the younger population, needs more exposure to these things, because everyone, I think, has a yearning for this. And I just think they need to be exposed. And I think actually my brother and I would be great people to kind of share this experience with people and kind of show them what we want them to see.
Following Mount Rainier, we ended up hitting Crater Lake and spent time down there, hiked that, fished at Crater Lake. From there we went down into Fresno, California, hiked Rancheria Falls and Huntington Lake, which is now unfortunately gone and has been engulfed by the flames in California. But we also were able to get into Yosemite for a day, and immediately after hiking around just a fraction of Yosemite, we just immediately wanted to stay there longer.
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
And from there we finished out the rest of the trip driving through the desert and Death Valley, going through Vegas, Arizona, and made it all the way to Austin, Texas, and spent some time in Austin helping our cousin revamp a camper at his ranch there. And as soon as we got back, we saw this, and we just wanted to take the time to properly introduce ourselves, and we just would love to be a part of Team Ultra. In addition to possibly working with you guys on this trip and sharing our experiences on the road, out traveling, my brother is also an athlete who has wanted to lock in a deal with Team Ultra, become Team Ultra, become Mich Ultra ambassadors. Chris was a collegiate boxing champion, captain of the U of M boxing team.
Yeah, so I just graduated from University of Michigan, class of 2020. I studied neuroscience. I'm 22, but basically when I was over there, I joined the boxing team because I grew up boxing with my father. We all did, and then I became the captain. I did that for a long time. Won a national tournament, took second the following year. Led my team the 3rd year, and I did that all of college. And then when I graduated college, there's actually this cool opportunity called the Bonderman Fellowship, which is only available at the University of Washington and the University of Michigan, which is where I graduated from. And I actually applied. I got it. Long story short, basically, the university pays any student who gets this a certain stipend over the course of 8 months, and they send you to travel to all these different developing countries all over the world. And I was fortunate enough to secure this position through a long application process and interviews. So that was going to be my plan post-graduation, but because of the whole COVID situation, everything got put on hold. So I wasn't able to actually travel. But as soon as all these restrictions are lifted, my plan is actually to go through the University of Michigan to all these countries independently, traveling by myself, backpacking, video recording, taking photos, and blogging. That's really the only purpose, and I get to explore different countries. But at first I was a little bitter that I couldn't go right away, but now that I'm starting to see with this time off I have that's just kind of what fueled me and my brother to be like, hey, let's go travel the United States. Let's go see what the United States has to offer. And I just think that being part of Team Ultra would be the perfect opportunity to kind of do this as well. And then going forward, when I'd go and travel all over the globe, still being part of Team Ultra or working closely with Michelob Ultra would be a really cool experience for you guys and for me as well. Because either way, this is what I'm going to be drinking.
And so just to close it out, whether we lock in something with you guys or not, we just want to thank you guys for truly just being our beer.
Yeah.
The beer that we drink here at our lake house every single day that we are here. Every time we're going on a trip, every time we have a social event, you guys have been our beer, and we're super thankful for that. And whether we lock in a ambassador deal with you or become part of Team Ultra or get lucky enough to become your travel CEOs, we're just thankful for what you guys are doing and love what you guys are doing on social media as a company. And if we can be a part of that, that would be
That'd be great, man.
that'd be incredible. And whether we do or don't, it's still gonna remain our beer, Team Ultra.